Northern Queensland is nervously waiting for one of the strongest cyclones in recorded history to cross the coast. Cyclone Yasi has slowed and is now expected to make landfall in about 5 hours between Innisfail and Cardwell. Tens of thousands of residents have fled the area or taken shelter in evacuation centres, but those who have stayed are expecting the worst.
In the path of a monster, Innisfail is bracing for its first Category 5 cyclone. Having weathered the Category 4 Cyclone Larry in 2006, residents here are expecting the worst.
Losing the house, losing the friends. It's scary, it is, it really is. We live across the road from the river and it's in a pretty old house, so we needed somewhere safe to come.
Packing winds of up to 300 kilometres an hour, even cyclone-proof buildings could be destroyed. Yasi will cross the coast after midnight, the front completely covering the area between Proserpine and Cooktown. Cairns and Innisfail are right in the path of the most powerful part of the storm. To give you an idea of Yasi's enormity, it would almost completely cover the United States. The eye alone is as big as Cyclone Tracy, which devastated Darwin in 1974. The storm will hit at the worst possible time, high tide. The coast could be battered by waves as high as 12 metres. State disaster authorities are predicting the town of Cardwell will experience a tidal surge of up to 7 metres. There'll be a surge of around 4 metres in Innisfail, at least 3 metres in Cairns and 2.9 metres in Townsville. The Queensland Premier says there are more than 10,000 people bunkered down in evacuation centres.
No one should be leaving home now. The time for movement and evacuation has now passed. People should be sheltering in place wherever they are.
It is now considered unsafe to travel.
The Prime Minister had some encouraging words for those still in the cyclone's path.
Our thoughts are with you. In this time, as you face these frightening hours, we are with you in spirit.
Yasi is expected to lose power as it crosses the coast, but it could still be a Category 3 storm at around 7 a.m. tomorrow, when it'll be 450 kilometres inland. Sam Eichen, World News Australia.
Good evening. Yes, at the moment, Yasi is around 250 kilometres off the coast, still a Category 5 system and expected to make landfall sometime this evening between around 10 p.m. and midnight. Now, we've got a broad warning which stretches from Cooktown all the way down to the Mackay-Serena area, but it's the area between Cairns and Townsville that has the extremely serious threat to life and property, and we'll be seeing the worst of the storm's surge, winds and rainfall.
What about those 300 kilometre an hour winds that we've been hearing about? Will they intensify before the cyclone hits the coast?
At the moment, in excess of 290 kilometres an hour is expected. Now, it could weaken slightly as it makes landfall, and anything in excess of 290 kilometres an hour is certainly going to cause widespread damage.
And Lee, the areas close to sea level, what can we expect in terms of high tides and the storm surge that you mentioned there?
The worst affected areas will see a storm surge of between 7 and 8 metres above the normal high tide level. Now, that is going to cause widespread inundation. You can compare it to a 2-storey building, and it could actually track kilometres inland in some of the lowest lying areas. So that could be one of the most devastating effects of the cyclone crossing.
Do you have any idea how far inland the main danger zone is going to be?
At the moment, the warning area extends all the way inland to Julia Creek. Northwestern parts of Queensland could be seeing gale force winds in excess of 100 to 130 kilometres an hour, and it could still be a Category 1 system as it draws close to the Northern Territory border. So certainly inland areas will also see the effects of this cyclone.
Dramatic night ahead. Thanks, Lee. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, SBS reporter Peter-Jane Madam is in Mackay, and she sent this report a short time ago.
I'm here in Mackay, which is in North Queensland and outside of the danger zone for Cyclone Yasi. But to give you an idea of the scale and the size of this storm system, Mackay, which is 4 hours south of Townsville, is still expected to receive cyclonic weather. In effect, by 10 p.m. tonight, residents of Mackay are being told to expect Category 1 type cyclonic conditions. So that includes gale force winds, as you can starting to see, the wind is starting to pick up, and also some fairly big waves and a possible possible tidal surge. In any case, residents of North Queensland are very used to these type of conditions. However, they've not expected one so big as Cyclone Yasi. The advantage that Mackay has, being close but not too close to Cyclone Yasi, is that its airport is still operating. We have already seen military aircraft being transferred from Townsville to Mackay. For starters, it is a safer place, and secondly, it's a better launching pad for the recovery effort in the days to come. Here in Mackay, it has a big marina, and a lot of boaties are also looking after that huge asset, their boats.
We've got two of our customers' boats down in the marina, and we're just making sure they're secure as much as we can for the weather tonight when it hits, taking off the tenders and putting extra mooring lines onto them and tying down sails and just making sure nothing's loose so the boats don't get damaged, or if anything comes off it doesn't damage anybody else's boat in the marina, which is part of the problem.
How do you think those preparations will go?
Well, they're about as good as we can do for the time being. Everybody's been pretty busy down in the marina doing the right thing, so by dark tonight that's about it. Just got to wait and see. But
so as you can see, the wind is picking up, the waves are getting a lot bigger and the rain is settling in. So you can only imagine what the situation would be like further north in Townsville and also in Cairns. So at the moment, residents all along the coast, they're preparing for the worst but certainly hoping for the best. Peter J. Madam, World News Australia.